think I might have an exhaust leak. I've had worse. Did you miss me? This is a daily. Semi-mildly loud car. Honestly, I've had worse muffler leaks than that. The 8th today. Did you see something weird? No, not the eclipse. I'm not wearing my boots. That only happens like every 2,000 years. Starting off this week's vlog, I got a little story to tell you. I'm telling you, sometimes you can't win, you know what I mean? So, last week, I took the week off and did some stuff, and I was talking about my muffler on my car. I gotta get my car in the shop. Well, I went to 3 mechanics, okay? And I don't know if they're phasing out muffler shops or what they're doing. But one muffler shop says, we're fading out pipe benders. Once the machine breaks, you know, we're really not gonna do mufflers anymore. And I thought, it's a mechanic shop. Everybody does mufflers. I'm like, okay. So I went back to another shop, and the guy he doesn't want to do mufflers. It's just not his thing, which I get it. There's stuff on cars that mechanics don't like to do. I totally get it. So I finally got it in the shop, and would you believe, $1,000 for that, to replace that whole pipe, because it goes up to the motor. Here's the deal, people. I drive an old Nissan, and it's been nothing but good to me. And I can't complain about this car. I've almost had this car 5 years. It never breaks down. But when certain pieces go on these cars, you better have a wallet full of money. So, I had decided, yes, and I didn't want to do it. I'm just gonna give her a good old Band-Aid. And when the inspection runs out in the old Nissan, I have made the horrible decision just to button this thing up. When August rolls around and inspection runs out, I'm gonna get something different. I love this car. It's breaking my heart to say that, but I have to do it. But I gotta put a Band-Aid on it till August. It should be okay. Yes, I'm the cheapest person you're ever gonna know. I'm not putting $1,000 into a piece of pipe.
I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Flashing red lights, driving at night, windowless ride, feeling alive. Nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we're making tonight. Oh yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah, I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more.
I did it. Hey, back in high school, they used to call me Old School Joe's Garage, because for $1,000, I could fix your repair for 30 bucks. I hear the train a-comin'. Yeah! Okay, I don't know how long that Band-Aid's gonna last, but is it me just overthinking this? $1,000 for that little hole? I get it, the upper part's probably getting bad, but you know what? A win's a win. I fixed my muffler down at Ed Meyer's complex. So hey, if you had the will, there's always a way. Listen, you can hear a thing. Now, this is the thing though, okay? I mean, what's your guys' opinion? Should I take it to a shop and just have them cut that pipe out and do the job? Or should I just, you know, totally unload the thing? But the thing runs like a champ. There is one thing I wanted to do and I didn't do. I wanted to put Loctite on them bolts down there so they wouldn't shake loose. I'll have to check them, but hey, I can't hear my car even running. And that guy is driving way too close. It's my life, it's my muffler. Woo! Yeah! Today, we're in Hydetown. I found this story, horrible story, but the nice little town of Hydetown had a tragedy back in December of 1870, where, well, basically, the moral of the story is don't mess with another man's wife, or, you know, something bad might happen to you. But the story about Roland Keitlinger, a man who got murdered in Hydetown. Yes, you've probably never heard of that before, but I'm gonna tell you because it's what I do. Hydetown, PA is 3 miles from Titusville, the small little town of Hydetown. Woo! And nothing really goes on here, to be honest with you, as I'm standing in the park. But Hydetown is a nice little town with a bar, a church, a fire department. Back in the day, there was hooligans, bullies, real idiots, real human urinals lived here. I mean, there was just, think about all the oil money that was going through. I shouldn't say human urinal. Let me do that again.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can. Just use it.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't. Okay.
Use it. It's fine. I ain't gonna.
But back in the day, think about the oil days, the old oil region here. A lot of people was coming here to get the money from all the oil that was happening here. And you had a group of people coming here. You had people just drinking and working in the oil field. You had bullies, hooligans. You had all these crazy people coming here. And back in the day, in the 1800s, there was 12,000 people who lived in this area, just alone to make the money off the oil. So you had quite the collective, collective, is that a word?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sound wrong to me. But this story, well, let me tell you. Back in the day, there was 2 families that lived here in Hydetown. There was the Keitlingers and the Turners. And what happened was Turner worked for a guy named William Keitlinger. His name was George Turner. He worked for William Keitlinger in the oil field. And William one day had a fight with his wife and they separated. So I don't know how the story began or how it worked out, but old George had a thing for William's wife. And well, you know what happens next. Things happen, they get together. William ain't too happy about it, but he's out of the picture. And as being a small community that Hydetown is, the word gets around that old George is shacking up with William's wife. Now George Turner, every time William's nephew, Roland, and William's brother, Angry John. I call him that because you'll see why I call him that. But Angry John and Roland would beat old George up in town here every time they seen him. Doesn't matter where he was, store, bar, doesn't matter. He pretty much, they put the bibs on and they put him in traction. So this guy, he was getting used to getting beat up. But this one particular night, December 3rd, Aspen.
This is an aspen. You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is.
Both parties went downtown in Titusville, 3 miles away, and they started drinking. Now you know, in Titusville, the bars are all in one circle. So eventually, you're gonna see, you know, the parties that are drinking. If you hit every bar, you pretty much see everybody who's drinking. Well, the family seen George, and they beat him up again. Ripped his brand new suit. Dr. Gage, I don't know who Dr. Gage is. Stop. This is in post-editing of the video. And as you know, wind-blown footage just doesn't fly. But what I was trying to tell you, before I go back to the footage in Hydetown, Turner is with his buddy Frank Brown and Dr. Gage drinking downtown. The Kitelingers, Roland and his uncle John, are at the bar downtown. That's when they met. That's when George got beat up again. Roland and his uncle John took off after the beating, jumped in the wagon, took off to another beer saloon, went drinking, was bragging up they just beat George up again. George was rescued by his friend Frank and Dr. Gage, alongside his uncle William and also his brother William come to the rescue, picked him up, took off, separated. Then, this is the part in the story I gotta tell you where I gotta stop and ask you guys if you guys know. Okay, in the part of the story where the next thing happens horrifically to one of these people in these two parties. It happens at Fulmer's Bridge in Hydetown. Now, I've lived here most of my life, except for a year. I lived in Colorado. But I've never heard Fulmer's Bridge ever living here. Maybe you OG Hydetown people would know, where is Fulmer's Bridge? So I'm gonna use a substitute bridge. I'll use the bridge in town of where a horrific accident happened. Just for a prop in the story, I'm gonna use 408's bridge, where the story turned, basically, it turned really bad for a one Roland Kitelinger. Now, when the Kitelingers got into their drunken, well, stupor, they said, we're gonna go wait in Hydetown on Fulmer's Bridge, which you already know. I don't know where Fulmer's Bridge is, but 408 will be a substitute. But they waited at the bridge in Hydetown. And when George Turner and his friend Frank Brown, Dr. Gage was so, basically he was in another bar, drunk. He couldn't make the trek home with them. So they left him at the bar. So Frank Brown and George Turner are on their way home in Hydetown. And when Uncle John and Roland Kitelinger seen him coming, they yelled at him to stop. They're gonna beat him up again. Frank Brown jumps out of the wagon and Roland Kitelinger punches him right in the face, eliminates this guy out of the picture. He's laid flat out. But the other guy, George Turner, is on the other side of the wagon. Kitelinger goes around while Angry Uncle John is over there. And in the story I read, I had to laugh because he's yelling at him to beat the crap out of this guy. But George Turner, in the story, he pulls out a gun. He went to a bar earlier in the day, hawked his watch for a gun. George had a gun. He pulls it on Roland. And Angry John, the uncle, is yelling. And this is where I need help from you. Angry John is yelling, go ahead and shoot him. I need you to do the stupid part that we used to do when we were kids. You remember that?
What's that?
The hey stupid?
Oh yeah. Hey stupid!
That's it. He's pretty much yelling at Roland, saying, get him. He's not gonna shoot you. So he's yelling at George, shoot him, shoot him. So what happens was, Roland goes and grabs the gun. And when George falls back, the gun goes off, shoots Roland in the heart. Now, after Roland is laying on the ground, He's dead. The gun went straight through his heart. Well, the bullet, I should say. Everybody's scattered. George left. Frank got up. Angry John, the uncle, took off. Everybody's gone. So Roland is laying on the ground here, dying. Now, again, I don't know if this is Fulmer's Bridge. I don't know. But he's laying on the ground, dying. A lot of rain every day this week. Man, oh man. I need a boat. Now, witnesses going by called the authorities. Well, back in the day, they called the justice. Yeah, the police. They came and identified the dead body as Roland Keitlinger. Yeah, even the farmer's fields all flooded. But a couple days later, George and his buddy Frank turned themselves in to the authorities, letting them know it was self-defense. The trial for George and his friend Frank started here, late December 1870. It wrapped up in 71, right here on Diamond Street. Now, there were so many people in the trial to see this. They sunk the floor 3 inches. So they had to kick everybody out except for the family members and the victim. Well, the accused, I should say. The victim was dead. Basically, the townsfolk, I almost said townsfolk. I'm getting older these days. The townspeople let them off on self-defense. And the crazy thing is, well, you know me in graveyards. I went searching for all of these people's grave sites. Nobody's buried in Titusville, Hydetown, Warren. I looked all over to find these people's grave sites. Nobody's buried here. But there ain't no history on where these people were buried, which baffles me. But the thing is, if George would have never bought or went down and traded his watch for this gun, old Roland probably would have lived. But who's to say how many more times George would have got beat up? Now, this story, I love these weird stories, and this week I want to do just a short one this week because I knew the weather's just nasty. There's wind you can't hear. Winter's almost over, people. I'm almost made it through. Someday we're gonna get to the sun shining again. But I wanted to do this short story this week because I just find this thing baffling, because nowadays if you did this, you still get hit with manslaughter, even though if it was self-defense. I'm just saying, that's what happens 2024. This is 1870 when this story happened, so it's different times. Every day it rained here over the week. And this is the first day, and not the best day to film with the wind. But man, this stuff is high. There's any fish down there. Grapes. With wind, filming in this weather, I have had it up to here. I can't take this weather much longer. I tell you, me and Mike had so much. When we get together, we're like two 14-year-olds. We laugh at the stupidest stuff. We've been friends for 39 years, and there's 10 minutes of footage I filmed that got blown away from the wind that you couldn't hear me talking. But how crazy of a story. Stuff like this, it always intrigues me, because nowadays this stuff wouldn't fly. But I never understood why the brother and the nephew took such revenge against this guy. And apparently William didn't care, because in the story, I will link the story, it's 8 pages long. I just took out the bullet points and showed you what the story boiled down to. But I'll put it downstairs in the link. You can click on it and read the whole story. It's 8 pages long. It tells you where the bars were. They're not here no more, but it tells you where the bars were, where they were, how they did it. Now, on a day like this, you can't do much with wind. I lost 10 minutes of footage, like I said. But yeah, I'll link it downstairs in the description. It's a crazy story, but stuff like this would not fly today. That person, yeah, you know what? He was defending himself, but he would be probably in jail for defending him. Yeah, I know it's wrong. And today's world is so backwards. It really is. But stuff like that, man, back then, the jury seen what the heck was going on with this guy. But I gotta say, back in the oil region days when oil was flowing through here, having a business here was probably pretty lucrative. You probably made a lot of money. But man, working at Pit Hole and Petroleum Center, it was not a nice place to be. If you read all the oil region stories, there is murder, there is rape, there is brothels, there's a lot of bad stuff that went around. It was crazy here in these oil boom towns. And it's not a pretty story to say or tell, but that was the reality of money coming into this town. You collected all these drifters, all these people coming in to make a quick buck on what was going on here. It's the craziest. There are so many stories out there I could tell you about Rouseville murders, Titusville murders, Hydetown. I told you one about a Hydetown murder this week. This is nuts. This is stuff that nobody talks about. They might have it in a little blurb in a piece of the paper, but they don't go and tell about the story. But there was a lot of bad stuff that happened when this place had a lot of money flowing through it. See, when money comes flowing in like that, the crazies come out. And I'm not trying to downgrade anybody. I'm just saying when the money was here, there was some crazy stuff. If you guys want to hear more stories like this, there's a weird story about, oh man, Rouseville's got a strange one. They got a couple strange ones. But if you guys want to hear more weird stories like that, I'll do them for you. But it just makes you wonder, man. Money makes people go crazy. But those were the days when a man got killed in Hydetown. And Hydetown is such a nice little town. Nothing really happens there. Peaceful, calm. You wouldn't think something like that would happen. But back in the oil days, oh yeah. Oh yeah, there was some bad stuff. Same as Titusville. Bad stuff going on. Money is the root of all evil, they say. I believe it because when I was in this area, people acted funny. But those were the days when me and my friend Mike went out and palled around, acted like we were 15 again. I tell you, when you're our age and you've known each other since Doc Brown invented the time machine in 1985, just getting together is fun, like I said. But it's crazy how this weather just won't let go for some odd reason. The sun needs to come out. But I enjoyed my week off, I gotta say. And I appreciate everybody who watches me. Now I know I say this a lot, but it warms my heart when people like you watching now watch me in my little area. I love bringing the spotlight from work to where I live. Stories that nobody's heard before. But let me say again, thank you very much for watching me. It's crazy on how the requests I've been getting I'm getting like 10, 12 emails a week of people with questions and blogs I did, or people wanting to meet me, or people wanting to go on a little trip with me just to do stories like today. Like my friend Mike. He's like, I just want to tag along with you. It seems fun. It is fun when you learn about stuff like this. But a big, big thank you to you guys. I'm just a local idiot having fun with the GoPro. That's all it is. I throw this stuff together. I put it out Monday nights at 6. That's all I do. But I love and appreciate all you people. But I gotta tell you, I am rejuvenated after taking my week off. Yes, I spent it doing stuff I needed to take care of. Did I get everything done? No. Car didn't get fixed. There's a couple other personal stuff I didn't get done. I got a call. Tim, if you're watching, I will call you. I promise. Buddy of mine, Tim, messaged me. Timmy, I'll get to you. I promise. It's just been crazy, crazy stuff. Sorry about the camera.
Oh, don't bother me.
Once you realize, you don't even, it's not even there, you know what I mean?
Don't bother me there.
That's good. That's good.
Don't edit that part out.
I
wish I could do that. I